What if I told you there's a plant growing quietly in backyards and farms across Africa, Asia, and the Caribbean that produces more usable protein per acre than most common beans, fixes its own nitrogen from the air, survives droughts that would kill your average vegetable garden, and keeps producing food not for one season, not for 5 years, but for 2 to 3 decades, sometimes longer? You've probably never seen this plant featured on a superfood label. You won't find it trending on wellness blogs, but agricultural scientists, food security researchers, and subsistence farmers across the developing world have known about its extraordinary value for thousands of years. This is the pigeon pea, and by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why it might be one of the most important food plants on the entire planet. Let's start from the beginning. The pigeon pea goes by the scientific name Cajanus Cajan. It belongs to the family Fabaceae, the legume family, which puts it in excellent company alongside chickpeas, lentils, and soybeans. But within that already impressive family, pigeon pea occupies a category almost entirely its own. Unlike most legumes that live for a single season and then die, pigeon pea is a perennial shrub. That single biological fact changes everything about how we should think about this plant. The plant itself is a woody, semi-evergreen shrub that typically grows between 1 and 4 meters in height, roughly 3 to 13 feet tall, depending on the variety and growing conditions. Its stems are slightly ribbed and angular, not perfectly round like a tree trunk. The leaves are trifoliate, meaning each leaf is divided into 3 leaflets with a pale, almost silvery underside caused by fine, downy hairs. When you hold a pigeon pea leaf up to the light, that pale green shimmer is one of its most recognizable features. The flowers are small but striking, bright yellow with deep red or purple veining, emerging in clusters at the end of branches. These blossoms are not just beautiful, they are highly attractive to bees, butterflies, and other pollinators, making pigeon pea a genuinely valuable plant for any ecosystem where it grows. The pods that follow are flat, slightly curved, and typically 2 to 4 inches long, containing between 2 and 9 seeds. Those seeds, the pigeon peas themselves, can range in color from cream to yellow, brown, red, or even speckled purple, depending on the cultivar. There are hundreds of documented varieties worldwide, bred over centuries for different climates, cooking uses, and harvest timelines. Now here's what truly sets this plant apart from an agronomic standpoint. Pigeon pea is believed to have originated in the Indian subcontinent, with strong archaeological evidence suggesting cultivation in India dating back at least 3,500 years. From there, it spread along ancient trade routes through East Africa, across the Atlantic during the colonial era, and into the Caribbean and Latin America, where it became deeply embedded in local food cultures, known as Gungo pea in Jamaica, gandul in Puerto Rico, and parts of Latin America, and tur dal in India, where it remains a daily dietary staple for hundreds of millions of people. What makes pigeon pea rule-breaking compared to most crops is this. It survives where others fail, feeds the soil while feeding the farmer, and keeps producing year after year without being replanted. Most annual vegetables drain the land. Pigeon pea rebuilds it. Pigeon pea is what plant scientists call a stress-tolerant crop. That phrase barely does it justice. This plant grows in regions where rainfall is unpredictable, temperatures are extreme, and soils are thin and degraded, conditions that would devastate most food crops. Specifically, pigeon pea performs best in semi-arid to subhumid tropical and subtropical climates, with annual rainfall anywhere between 600 and 1,000 millimeters. It tolerates temperatures ranging from 18 degrees Celsius to 38 degrees Celsius, roughly 65 degrees Fahrenheit, to 100 degrees Fahrenheit, though some varieties can handle brief dips lower than that. In terms of soil, pigeon pea is remarkably flexible. It grows well in sandy loams, clay loams, and even in degraded nutrient-poor soils with a pH between 5 and 7. What it absolutely cannot tolerate is waterlogging. Its roots need drainage. But in virtually every other soil challenge scenario, pigeon pea finds a way. The top producing countries in the world tell you a great deal about this plant's ecological range. India is by far the largest producer, accounting for approximately 85 to 90% of global pigeon pea production, with major growing regions in Maharashtra, Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, and Karnataka. Beyond India, significant production occurs in Myanmar, Malawi, Tanzania, Uganda, Kenya, the Democratic Republic of Congo, and Ethiopia. In the Western Hemisphere, the Dominican Republic, Jamaica, and parts of Brazil and Honduras are key producers and consumers. The global market for pigeon pea is estimated at well over 4 million metric tons annually, making it the world's third most important pulse crop after chickpea and lentil. Now let's walk through the growth timeline, because this is where things get genuinely fascinating. If you plant pigeon pea from seed, sown directly into the ground approximately 2 to 5 centimeters deep, germination begins within 5 to 10 days under warm conditions. In the first few weeks, the seedling establishes a deep taproot. This is critical. That taproot can eventually penetrate 2 meters or more into the soil, reaching moisture and nutrients that shallow-rooted crops can never access. This is precisely why pigeon pea survives drought conditions that destroy other plants. By weeks 4 to 8, the plant is actively fixing atmospheric nitrogen through a symbiotic relationship with soil bacteria called rhizobium, forming nodules on its roots that convert nitrogen gas from the air into forms that enrich the soil. Short-duration varieties begin flowering around 60 to 90 days after planting, with pods forming 3 to 4 weeks after flowering. These early varieties are excellent for farmers who need a quick harvest. Medium-duration varieties flower at 120 to 150 days, and long-duration or perennial types may take 180 to 240 days to first harvest. But those long-duration types are the ones that can continue producing for 5, 10, even 20 to 30 years when properly managed, cut back after each season, and allowed to regenerate. From a farming technique standpoint, pigeon pea is frequently intercropped with sorghum, maize, or millet, planted in alternating rows where it provides shade, nitrogen, and ground cover, while the cereal crops grow alongside it. This intercropping system increases overall farm yield without additional inputs. Irrigation needs are minimal for established plants. Home gardeners should know pigeon pea grows beautifully in large containers of at least 15 to 20 liters, making it viable for balcony gardens and small urban plots in warm climates. Let's talk numbers, because the nutritional profile of pigeon pea is genuinely impressive, and the research backing it is extensive. Per 100 grams of cooked pigeon peas, you receive approximately 9 grams of protein, and in dried split form, that figure climbs to 21 to 22 grams per 100 grams. For context, common beans provide around 8 to 9 grams of protein per 100 grams cooked, and lentils offer about 9 grams. Pigeon pea sits at the very top of the legume protein hierarchy in terms of bioavailability and amino acid profile, particularly rich in lysine, an amino acid that is critically deficient in rice and maize-based diets. This is not coincidental. In cultures where pigeon pea is eaten alongside rice or flatbreads, the combination creates a nutritionally complete protein source comparable to meat. Beyond protein, pigeon peas provide meaningful quantities of dietary fiber, approximately 5 to 6 grams per cooked 100 g serving. Folate, essential for cell division and pregnancy health. Iron, magnesium, potassium, zinc, phosphorus, and B vitamins, including thiamine and niacin. The glycemic index of pigeon peas is low, around 22, making them particularly beneficial for blood sugar management and an excellent dietary choice for people managing or preventing type 2 diabetes. Medically, pigeon pea has attracted serious scientific attention. Research published in journals including the Journal of Ethnopharmacology and Food Chemistry has documented anti-inflammatory, antioxidant, and antifungal compounds in pigeon pea leaves, roots, and seeds, specifically compounds called Cajanol and Cajanine, flavonoids found in pigeon pea have demonstrated anti-cancer activity in laboratory studies, particularly showing potential against breast and colon cancer cell lines. These are early-stage findings, but they have accelerated pharmaceutical interest in the plant. Traditionally, pigeon pea leaves have been used in Ayurvedic medicine and across African folk medicine systems to treat wounds, fever, and diarrhea. Use is now being investigated through modern pharmacological lenses. For animals, pigeon pea is a proven, high-quality feed source. The leaves, stems, and pods are fed to cattle, goats, sheep, and poultry across sub-Saharan Africa and Asia. Research from the International Crops Research Institute for the Semi-Arid Tropics, ICISAT, confirms that pigeon pea stover, the dried plant material left after seed harvest, provides 12 to 15% crude protein, making it a cost-effective dry-season fodder supplement that reduces livestock malnutrition during scarcity periods. Environmentally, the impacts are profound and multi-layered. Each pigeon pea plant fixes between 40 and 200 kilograms of atmospheric nitrogen per hectare per year, which directly reduces the need for synthetic nitrogen fertilizers. When pigeon pea is incorporated into crop rotation, subsequent crops, particularly cereals, show measurably higher yields on the same land without additional fertilizer. The deep taproot system breaks up compacted soils, improves water infiltration, and dramatically reduces surface erosion on sloped and degraded land. Research in East Africa has shown that pigeon pea hedgerows on hillside farms reduce soil erosion by up to 80% compared to unplanted slopes, and its abundant flowers support bee populations and other pollinators throughout its long growing season, making it an ecological anchor crop in biodiverse farming systems. Let's be direct with each other for a moment. The world is facing a convergence of serious challenges: soil degradation, food insecurity, climate unpredictability, and the rising cost of protein for billions of people. Agricultural scientists and food policy researchers are actively searching for crops that can produce more with less, heal damaged land, and feed communities reliably across generations. Pigeon pea checks every single one of those boxes. It is not a future solution. It has been a real, working solution for thousands of years in some of the most resource-limited farming conditions on Earth. If you grow food, whether on a small backyard plot, a rooftop container garden, or a multi-acre farm, pigeon pea is one of the most rational crops you can add to your system, particularly if you live in a warm climate zone. Plant it once and manage it well, and you are looking at a productive perennial food source that requires no replanting, minimal water, zero synthetic fertilizer, and rewards you with harvests season after season. From an economic perspective, the market for pigeon peas is both stable and growing. Global pulse demand is rising steadily as plant-based proteins become increasingly mainstream. Small and medium-scale farmers in India, East Africa, and the Caribbean earn consistent income from pigeon pea, both through local markets and export channels. Dried split peas, tur dal, canned gungo peas, and fresh green peas each serve different market segments. Value-added processing, grinding pigeon peas into flour, fermenting them, or extracting protein concentrates, is an emerging area where farmer cooperatives and small agribusinesses are developing meaningful economic value chains. Seed preservation is another topic worth addressing seriously. Pigeon pea has extraordinary genetic diversity, with hundreds of landrace varieties adapted to specific microclimates, soil types, and cultural uses. Many of these varieties exist only in the seed stocks of traditional farming communities. When those communities abandon these seeds in favor of commercial monocultures, that genetic information, built over centuries of farmer selection, is lost permanently. Organizations like ICRISAT maintain global pigeon pea seed banks precisely because that diversity is a living library of drought tolerance, disease resistance, and genetrical variation that we may desperately need as climates shift. If you grow pigeon pea, saving your seeds at the end of each season is a small, meaningful act of agricultural stewardship. Here's what I want you to take away from this video. The pigeon pea is not an exotic curiosity. It is a profoundly practical plant that has sustained human populations through droughts, soil exhaustion, and food scarcity across 3 continents for 3.5 millennia. Its protein rivals soybeans in certain comparisons. Its environmental benefits rival cover crops. Its longevity as a perennial shrub makes it a food investment, not just a food crop. And its story, largely invisible in Western food conversations, deserves to be told and retold until this plant gets the recognition it has always earned. If this video has given you one useful idea, one plant you hadn't considered before, or one reason to look at your garden or your farm differently, then this conversation was worth having. Grow something real, feed something real, and leave the soil better than you found it. If you'd like to see more deep dive profiles on underutilized food crops that science has validated and history has proven, subscribe and let the next video find you. Leave a comment below telling me which plant you want us to cover next. Your suggestion just might become our next script.